Let's be real, 2025 may not have gone exactly as planned. Maybe you started super strong in January, but then you lost momentum, or maybe you just feel like you're just floating through life right now without any real direction. Whatever your story is, here's the truth. Your comeback season is loading. And not just any comeback, a powerful, refined, next level glow up that leaves people wondering, how did you pull it off? So today, I'm breaking down unexpected power moves that will redefine your mindset, upgrade your lifestyle, and set you up for a year unlike any other. So let's get started. Welcome to the Chic Evolution, your ultimate destination for fashion, beauty, and empowerment. I am a former top model and multiple beauty pageant winner. I've had the privilege of walking the runways from America to Europe. I've graced magazine covers, and my passion for helping others has empowered me to uplift those around me. So join me as I share insider tips on style, confidence, and living your best chic life. Because at the Chic Evolution, confidence is always in season. Welcome back to our little corner of the internet where we explore all things empowerment, all things femininity, and all things fashion. Before we get started, you know the drill. Please do take the time to subscribe to my channel and to also like this video for more content like this. And if you're new on this channel, over here we like to start each video by lighting up a candle just for the good vibes, just to set the tone for the video. And towards the end, we turn it off and I send you with a positive and uplifting affirmation. So I always encourage you, if you have a candle at home, to also light it up with me so you can join in this little practice. And the candle of the day is called Pink Sunrise Lever de Soleil Rose. It's pretty cute. So here you go. Here is our little candle of the day. Let's get started. And we're really going to talk about the ultimate reset. So healing, closing chapters, and moving on. So before we step into a powerful 2025, we need to release the emotional weight of 2024. No more carrying past mistakes, missed opportunities, or even moments that made you doubt yourself. Healing isn't just about letting go. It's about making space for something better, something new. So my chic babe, this comeback is so personal. Maybe you set goals at the beginning of the year that never fully materialized. Maybe you had people in your life who didn't support you at all. Or maybe you poured your energy into something that didn't quite give back. Whatever it is, the truth is we cannot create new energy in our lives if we're still chasing and clinging onto old baggage. Healing is an intentional act. It requires you to acknowledge, to process, and to release what no longer brings positivity into your life. So I'm going to share with you for this first topic, 6 simple yet powerful steps to help you reset, heal, close chapters, and move forward with clarity. So step number 1, identify what needs to be released. You can't move forward if you don't know what's weighing you down. So take an honest look at 2024 and ask yourself, what habits or routines drained your energy? What self-doubt or limiting beliefs held you back? Or even what commitments did you say yes to that you should have walked away from? Maybe you spent an entire year last year in an environment that no longer aligned with your growth. Whether it was a job that left you physically and mentally exhausted, maybe even a circle of people, coworkers, friends, family who completely disappointed you. Or maybe it was none of that. Maybe it was just a routine that kept you stagnant. If deep down you know you deserve better, then this is what needs to be released. So here's your action step. Write a list of everything that felt heavy in 2024 for you, and really have things, environments, or people that made you feel stuck, unwanted, drained, or uninspired. Then write what you learned from each of them. The goal isn't just to let go, it's to also take wisdom from those experiences and bring them into 2025 and beyond. My next powerful step to help you heal, reset, and close chapters, and obviously move forward with clarity, is step number 2. Mentally and physically healing requires boundaries. So if something doesn't bring you peace, growth, or joy, it doesn't need to follow you into this year. Maybe you kept overcommitting to things that left you burnt out, maybe projects, maybe even social events, or maybe just responsibilities that you felt obligated to take on but didn't actually serve your long-term goals in any capacity. If you constantly put yourself last to keep up with others' expectations, this is your sign to reprioritize yourself for once. So your action step for this one is to identify what no longer aligns with your values and say no more often. So if something doesn't contribute to your well-being, to your success, to your happiness, it's okay to let it go. And remember that it's also okay to set boundaries that protect your time, health, and energy. So it's now time for my next powerful step to help you reset, heal, and close chapters and move forward with clarity. And that step is step number 3, release emotional baggage through a closure ritual. Sometimes we wait for closure or for an apology from situations or people that will never give it to us. Instead of expecting validation or explanations from the past, create your own sense of closure. Maybe you worked extremely hard towards a personal goal, whether it was launching a creative project, maybe applying for a higher paying job, going to school, maybe completing a course, maybe invested in a relationship, but it didn't go as planned. If you're still carrying that frustration or disappointment from those experiences that left you scarred, it's okay to release it. It is time to release it. And here's how you're going to do it. Your action plan is to write a letter to the version of yourself who experienced those setbacks. 1. Thank yourself for trying. Acknowledge that you did your best with the information and skills you had at the time. And then this is the crucial part. Physically destroy the letter. And I mean it. Rip it up, girl. Throw it away and burn it if you want, but obviously burn it safely. Just destroy the letter, okay? This is a symbolic way of closing the chapter and freeing yourself from lingering frustration. And this is actually a great segue into the next powerful step to help you heal, reset, close chapters, and move forward with clarity. And that step is step number 4. Shift from why did this happen to what's next. So dwelling on the past keeps you stuck in it, right? Instead of replaying what went wrong, shift your mindset to what's next. Maybe you plan to push yourself in a new direction, whether it was leveling up in your job, maybe having that tough conversation with someone in your life who hurt you, or even taking better care of yourself physically and mentally. But you didn't do that. Instead, you kept postponing it because of setbacks or maybe uncertainty. So instead of asking, why didn't this work out? Ask yourself, what can I do differently next time? So for this step, your action plan is to write down 3 new things you will focus on for the rest of 2025. Whether it's refining your skills, setting better goals, maybe creating a more structured daily routine, or maybe just have more genuine people in your personal circle. Just shift your energy to forward motion. Your past does not define your future. And this brings us right into this powerful step to help you reset, heal, close chapters, and move forward with clarity. And that is step number 5. Forgive, but don't reopen closed doors. Forgiveness isn't about saying that what happened was okay. It's really about freeing yourself from carrying that emotional weight on your shoulders and in your heart. However, forgiveness doesn't mean giving people or situations or even old habit chance after chance. That's not what I'm saying here. Maybe you had a family member or even a friend who consistently was toxic towards you, undervalued you, or even diminished your voice. And when it comes to people who treat you that way, you don't need an apology to move forward. Forgive them just for your own peace, and then set clear boundaries so that their toxic ways no longer impacts you like ever. And so here's your action plan for this one. If there's someone or something you need to mentally release, say this out loud. I release the pain this caused. I choose peace over resentment. I will not let this define me anymore. Repeat it until you feel yourself completely letting go. And so my last step for this subject is step number 6. That is to step into 2025 like it was always meant for you. The most powerful thing you can do is to decide that 2025 is yours. No more doubting, no more even explaining, just stepping into your next chapter with full confidence, knowing that no matter what, you will figure it out. I mean, just think about a time when you hesitated because you didn't really feel ready. Maybe you wanted to start something new, maybe start completely fresh in a specific area of your life, but you held yourself back. Now, imagine what could have happened if you had just done it and just gone for it. Do you ever think about the version of yourself who took the risk, pushed forward, and achieved success beyond expectations? 2025 is the year you step into that version. It's time to take the leap. So here's what you can do, okay? Pick a word for 2025 that represents your comeback. And it could be any word. It could be boldness, it could be transformation, it could be abundance, it could be discipline, and let that word guide your daily actions. Write that word somewhere visible so you can see it daily. The rest of 2025 isn't about proving anything to anyone. It's about showing up for yourself. It's about showing yourself that you're capable of doing anything you set your mind to. So heal what needs healing, close the doors that need closing, and walk into this next chapter like it was always meant for you, because it was anyways. Now that you have the tools to reset, to heal, and to close old chapters, it's time to shift from reflection to action. Because growth isn't just about letting go, it's also about stepping into new opportunities with boldness. And that's where the 72-hour decision rule comes in. So this rule really means to be unpredictable to your old self. I mean, have you ever noticed how the best opportunities tend to slip away when you hesitate too long? I mean, that job application you didn't submit, the business idea you kept overanalyzing, or even the new skill you wanted to learn, but you kept putting off. Oh, I'm calling you out today, girl, because overthinking is one of the biggest dream killers. And in 2025, we're eliminating that pattern with the 72-hour rule. And it follows these two concepts. So when you feel a strong push toward a goal, an idea, or a change, you have 72 hours to make the first step. That action doesn't have to be huge, but it must be real. Something that moves the idea from thought to motion. And the reason why I'm sharing this 72-hour decision rule is because there are 3 strong science aspects that really backs this up. So studies in psychology show that motivation follows action, not the other way around. Because you know what? We often wait when we feel ready, but research suggests that readiness comes after we start, not before. So the Zergonic effect is a psychological principle that explains that your brain holds onto unfinished tasks, creating mental tension until they're completed. So basically, taking the first step makes follow through easier because your mind wants to finish what it starts. So the moment you take an action step, your brain shifts from I want to do this to I am doing this right now, making follow through much easier. There's also another psychological effect called decision fatigue. So the longer you delay a choice, the more energy your brain uses to analyze all the possibilities. Because when you're undecisive, you're making your brain work overtime. You know why? Because after a few days, mental exhaustion kicks in. And naturally, as human beings, your brain will start thinking, oh, maybe I'll do it later. Because right now, with everything that's going on, yeah, let's just do it later. Which often turns into never doing it at all. So the third scientific aspect that supports the 72-hour decision rule is called the neuroscience of habits. So according to Dr. Wendy Wu, who is also a very well-known researcher on habit formation, she says that we make 43% of our daily decisions out of habit rather than conscious thought. So the 72-hour helps you create habit of immediate action, making success a natural part of your routine. Now, how do you use the 72-hour decision rule to make the rest of 2025 your greatest comeback year? So when you feel inspired to do something, ask yourself, what is one immediate step I can take within the next 72 hours? And that step could just be sending an email to connect with someone who can help. Maybe even booking an appointment that pushes you a little bit forward. It could also just be researching the first step towards your decision and physically taking action, like signing up for a class, maybe starting a side hustle, or maybe changing your daily habit. So a study published in Psychological Science found that people who committed to new habits within 72 hours of deciding to change were 90% more likely to follow through compared to those who waited a week or longer. So the moral of the story is that success isn't about overanalyzing. It's about acting fast and learning as as you go. And why not just surprise yourself? Be unpredictable to your old self. Your old self has to look at you and think, wow, she is really doing the damn thing. Because when you hesitate, you really reinforce the identity of someone who wants to change but never actually does it. Being unpredictable to your old self means breaking cycles of constant hesitation and stepping into the unknown before you feel 1,000% ready. You know what I mean? It's also about shifting your mindset from I'll think about it to I'll figure it out as I go. It's about changing it from maybe later to why not now? And when you think about it, some of the best decisions in life aren't the ones you had all the answers for. They're really the ones you took a leap on and adapted along the way. Because growth doesn't come from waiting until you have the perfect plan. It comes from trusting yourself enough to take the first step. So why not just put the 72-hour rule to test? For the rest of 2025, challenge yourself. If you have an opportunity that makes sense to you, move forward sooner than later. And if fear creeps in, act before doubt takes over. If you feel that in your gut instinct, trust it and follow through within the next 72 hours. I mean, just imagine where you could be 1 year from now if you acted on your ideas rationally and immediately instead of hesitating constantly and doubting yourself. Just imagine the version of yourself who stopped waiting and just started doing because she believed in herself. Your past patterns don't have to define your future. Be bold, be spontaneous, and positively surprise yourself. Number 3, the no one knows rule. So moving in silence with precision. There's an undeniable power in keeping your moves private until they're fully realized. And this isn't about being secretive. It's really about protecting your vision from unnecessary opinions, energy draining doubts, or even external distractions that can throw you off track. Because when you share your plans too early, you invite 2 types of responses: criticism or expectations. And honestly, both can pressure you into performing instead of actually processing. Silence gives you the room to build before the world starts watching. I mean, think about it. Some of the most successful people in history didn't announce their moves. They just let the results do the talking. And beyond that, moving in silence also forces you to rely on your inner motivation instead of external validation constantly. It also shifts your focus from trying to impress others to genuinely executing. When no one knows what you're working on, you're free to pivot, you're free to experiment and make mistakes without unnecessary scrutiny. But moving in silence doesn't mean isolating yourself. You still need a trusted inner circle, people who uplift you, people who challenge you, and who hold you accountable without leaking your next steps. It's about being strategic with what you want to share, not closing yourself off completely. So in 2025, work behind the scenes, stay focused, and unveil your success when it's undeniable. Always remember that the less they know, the smoother the journey. I won't go too deep into moving in silence here since I covered it in a video called How to Move in Silence and Live a Private and Peaceful Life. So definitely be sure to check it out after this one because it's packed with so much good and practical information, examples, and everything. So definitely don't miss that video because it's absolutely worth watching. But I just had to mention this subject in this video because moving in silence is a game changer for making the rest of 2025 your greatest comeback year. Once you've mastered the power of moving in silence, it's time to take things a step further. Playing it safe won't lead to a true comeback. So let's talk about the impossible list strategy and why setting bold, intimidating goals is the key to making 2025 your most transformative year yet. This year, we're taking things to the next level with an impossible list. Yes, a set of goals for your life that are so bold, they make you uncomfortable just thinking about them. Because safe goals keep you in autopilot. Impossible goals, on the other hand, force you to think, act, and grow in ways you never thought was possible. So what is an impossible list? Unlike traditional goal setting where you aim for what's realistic and what's achievable, an impossible list is all about breaking the limits of what you believe you can accomplish. Instead of setting a small, manageable goal like start a side hustle, you could have the goal of make 100 sales this year. Instead of having the goal to just get in shape, your goal could be train for a marathon in your local town. Instead of having the goal to be more confident, your goal could be to speak in front of 50 people. The impossible goal strategy works because of 3 key factors. The first one is because it shifts your mindset. I mean, think about it. When you aim high, your brain starts looking for solutions you never would have considered for small goals. And suddenly you're thinking bigger, you're acting bolder, and discovering new opportunities. The second reason is because they unlock creativity and resourcefulness. Now, thanks to genetics and evolution, our brains are wired to solve problems. I mean, the bigger the challenge, the more resourceful you become. When you aim for something impossible, you start thinking outside of the box and finding ways to make it happen. And the last reason why the impossible goal strategy works is because they create unstoppable motivation. And also, let's just be honest, small goals don't always seem that exciting, but big, scary goals, they kind of do. When your goal is thrilling and a little bit terrifying, it keeps you engaged, it keeps you energized and committed because the reward is life-changing because the goal is so significant. And if you don't believe the science behind it, let me give you real-life examples of the power of impossible goals. So J.K. Rowling, the author of the famous book Harry Potter, let's talk about that. Did you know that she was a single mother on public assistance when she wrote the first book of Harry Potter? I mean, my chic babes, let's be real. The odds were against her. She was rejected not only from 1, not from 2, not even from 5, but from 12 publishers. But she had an impossible dream. Had she set a safe goal, she might have settled for less. Instead, she chose to pursue her impossible goal, and that changed her world. It changed the world of literacy. Let me give you another great example. Let's talk about Beyoncé's iconic Coachella performance. And as a refresher, Beyoncé made history in 2018 as the first Black woman to headline Coachella. And mind you, she was pregnant not too long before that. After giving birth to her twins, Beyoncé set a goal that seemed impossible, delivering one of the most legendary performances in music history. And she continued to redefine excellence by setting a standard so high that it led her to continue to grow, evolve, and kill it on stage as she usually does. And if you're still not convinced, okay girl, let me bring Michael B. Jordan into this conversation. Michael Jordan didn't just want to be good, he wanted to be the greatest of all time. His impossible goal pushed him to train harder than anyone and transformed his skills beyond what seemed achievable. And obviously, ultimately making him a global icon whose influence extended beyond basketball. I mean, shaping sneaker culture, luxury sportswear, and the rise of athletic-driven fashion. I mean, talk about an impossible goal. So basically, don't let anyone tell you that you are dreaming too big, even if that person is yourself. So how do you actually create your impossible list for 2025? Ask yourself, what's a goal that excites me but also scares me? 2, write it down even if it seems far-fetched. And 3, break it into steps. What's one thing you can do today to move forward? 4, embrace the challenge. The fact that it feels impossible is a good sign. You're stepping outside of your comfort zone. 5, keep pushing. Even if you don't hit the goal exactly, you'll land far beyond what you thought was possible. 2025 is really about playing at a higher level. Dare to dream so big that it forces you to grow into the person who can achieve it, who can achieve anything they set their mind to. Forget being comfortable all the time. Forget limitations and make 2025 the year you surprise yourself. Setting bold, intimidating goals is the first step, but now it's time to take action without fear. Big dreams come with big risks, and the key to unlocking your full potential is learning to embrace rejection. And that's where the 100 Rejection Challenge comes in. So how to build an unstoppable mindset? That's what we're about to dive into. Most people fall before they even try, not because they aren't capable, but because they're afraid of rejection. But what if I told you that rejection is the key to your greatest comeback? The 100 Rejection Challenge flips fear on its head. Instead of avoiding rejection, you actively seek it out. Whether it's pitching yourself for a dream opportunity, maybe it's asking for a raise, maybe it's starting a side hustle. The goal is to collect 100 no's before the end of 2025. And just to do the math here, 100 rejection is about 3 rejections a week. So it's absolutely doable. And I know that it may sound crazy, but that's exactly why it works. Here's the magic, okay? When you stop fearing no, you start taking bolder actions. You stop waiting for perfect conditions, the perfect time, at the perfect moment, and you just start making things happen. And in the process, something unexpected happens. You'll get more yeses than you ever thought was possible. Some of the most successful people didn't win because they were the only ones competing. They won because they refused to quit because they believed in themselves and they believed in their talent. I mean, J.K. Rowling was rejected by 12 publishers before Harry Potter became a global phenomenon. Oprah was told that she wasn't fit for television. Can you imagine if they had let rejection define them? 2025 is the year you become rejection proof. No more playing small because you're afraid of hearing no. So chase those 100 rejections and watch how many yeses start coming your way. Facing rejection builds resilience, but true transformation happens when you start seeing yourself as the person who already deserves success. It's really not just about what you do, it's about who you become. And that's where the 24-hour identity shifts comes in. You know, most people wait until they've achieved success to start acting successful. They tell themselves, I'll dress better when I get my dream job. Or maybe they'll say, I'll feel confident once I lose the weight. But my chic babes, this kind of thinking keeps you stuck because success doesn't come first, identity does. The most powerful way to change your life is to change the way you see yourself and the way you think about yourself. So start today. The 24-hour identity shift is about embodying the future version of yourself right now, before the success arrives. Not the next year, not in 5 years, today. So think about the person you want to be by the end of 2025. Ask yourself, how do they think? How do they dress? How do they walk into a room? How do they speak? How do they carry themselves? And make decisions. Now spend the next 24 hours living as that version of yourself. No excuses, girl. No overthinking. Just full commitment for the next 24 hours. And this doesn't mean pretending to be someone you're not. It really means stepping into the habits, confidence, and presence of the person you're becoming. If your future self is polished and elegant, upgrade your outfit today, not later. If your future self moves with confidence, adjust your posture and make eye contact as often as you can remember today. If your future self makes bold decisions, has strong boundaries, stop hesitating so much and start saying yes to opportunities more today. You know why? Because your brain believes whatever you tell it. Neuroscience proves that when you act as if something is already true, your brain starts rewiring itself to make it a reality. And this is why professional athletes use visualization techniques, because the brain cannot tell the difference between an imagined success and a real one. So you can make a different decision. The moment you start carrying yourself like your future self, your standards change. You naturally start making choices that align with that version of you. Whether it's your appearance, maybe it's your career, maybe it's your relationships, maybe it's personal growth. Confidence attracts opportunities. I mean, have you ever noticed how confident people seem to attract better opportunities and just have a better life in general? That's because the way you present yourself changes how people respond to you. When you show up as your most polished, most confident, self-assured version, people will take you way more seriously. So be yourself, be your best self, however you choose to define it. And no one can define who you are better than you can. And you know, fashion can also be part of your identity shift. It's actually one of the fastest ways to shift your identity. Studies show that how you dress directly affects your confidence, affects your mindset, and even how others perceive you. This is called enclothed cognition. It's a psychological concept that proves wearing certain clothing can actually influence your thoughts, your emotions, but also just like your behaviors in general. So let me give you a real example. Coco Chanel wasn't born into success. She reinvented herself from an orphan girl to the most influential designers in history. And that's simply because she understood that elegance wasn't just about clothing, it was about presence. She really didn't wait to be recognized as a fashion icon. She embodied it before the world caught up. Let me give you another great example, okay? The gorgeous and fabulous Rihanna. Rihanna started as a pop star, but she didn't stop there. She really embodied the mindset of a business mogul long before she launched Fenty Beauty. And in many ways, she carried herself like a CEO before she became one, and even before the world took notice. So here's my challenge for you today. For the next 24 hours, step into your future self. Walk into rooms like you know your worth. Dress in a way that makes you feel your best self. Speak with confidence. Make decisions from a place of power. Something powerful happens when you do this. Your brain starts believing that it's already real. And here's a secret. If you can embody your future self for the next 24 hours, you can do it for a week, then a month, then a lifetime. Stop waiting for success to change you. Become the change and watch success catch up to you. Stepping into your future self is powerful. But to fully embody that transformation, you need to be intentional about what influences you daily. So the people, the content, the information you surround yourself with shapes your mindset. And this is where the next subject comes in: unfollow to elevate. Your mind is really a product of what you consume, right? And in 2025, it's time to audit everything. Not just what's in your fridge or in your closet, but also what's on your feed. You know, we underestimate how much social media shapes our mindset and motivation. But the reality is, every time you scroll, you either elevate your mind, give yourself a mental break for a good laugh or a good kiki, or you're filling your mind with distractions, with negativity and insecurities. So what do I really mean by this unfollow to elevate method? This strategy is about being brutally intentional with your digital world. It's not just about minimizing screen time, it's really about curating a space that empowers you. So this is how you're going to do it. Unfollow. That's the first step. If a page or an influencer doesn't educate, inspire, bring you joy, make you laugh, or add value to your life, it's okay to remove it. Mute. If who they are or what they are sharing is draining your energy, but you can't bring yourself to unfollow them for whatever reason. I mean, it could be a friend, it could be a family member you're not that close to. It's okay to mute their posts, stories, or both. Delete. If it makes you feel less than in any way, shape, or form, it has no place in your digital space. Most of us don't always stop to think about what we're feeding our mind daily. And some of us follow influencers, brands, and media outlets without considering how the content they're sharing is shaping our thoughts. But in reality, your digital diet matters just as much as your real diet. Your brain absorbs everything you consume. Neuroscientists have found that the brain doesn't differentiate between reality and what it sees on the screen. This really means that the content you engage with directly programs your thoughts, your emotions, and your beliefs about yourself. So if you're constantly scrolling through content that makes you constantly feel behind, unworthy, or uninspired, you're conditioning yourself to stay stuck. Not just that, comparison is a productivity killer. Studies show that excessive social media use lowers self-esteem, especially for those who already find themselves constantly comparing their lives to someone else's highlight reels. If your feed makes you feel like you're behind or not good enough, you're subconsciously limiting your own potential. Because your digital environment shapes your ambition. If you surround yourself with motivation, knowledge, laughter, and success-driven content, you naturally start thinking bigger. Your brain adapts to the level of information it's exposed to. And this is why high achievers really try their best to be intentional about what they read, what they watch, and what they engage with online. So now the question is, how do you actually curate a feed that elevates you? Instead of passively scrolling, take control of your algorithm. 1, follow people who inspire action, not just aesthetics. Because beauty is great, but what about the content? Are they teaching you anything? Are they making you laugh? You can also follow creators who elevate your thinking, whether it's in fashion, business, wellness, self-development, like my channel. Subscribe, shameless plug. Your digital space should be filled with people who encourage you to grow, not just look. You should also consume content that fuels your ambition. If your feed isn't making you smarter, isn't making you laugh, isn't making you feel more confident or more motivated, it is really just stealing your time. So be intentional about following pages that challenge your mindset, teaches you new skills, and help you grow as a person. Look for content that gives you practical value, whether it's expert fashion tips, career advice, personal growth strategies, finance, anything that will help you grow. Make your digital world a reflection of your best self as much as possible. You won't let anyone just come into your home, so why let low-value activities or toxic content into your mind constantly? Your digital space should be a place that elevates, that brings you joy, not drains your energy. And remember that you get to decide whether social media is a tool for growth or a mental toxic trap. I mean, think about it. Your mind is literally the most valuable real estate you own. So 2025 is the year you stop mindlessly consuming and start strategically curating. Your comeback is about what you allow into your mind. So be ruthless with your digital world. Audit your feed like your future depends on it, because it does. Protect your energy. Guard your focus and watch how fast your mindset, your confidence, and opportunities shift. And now that you have the blueprint for making 2025 your greatest comeback year, it's time to stop waiting and start executing. The strategies I share today aren't just theories. They are real power moves that will elevate your mindset, your confidence, and your results. So let me know in the comments, what's one thing you're letting go for 2024 to make space for the next level? Or if you had to describe your 2025 comeback in one word, what would it be? I want to hear from you, so drop a comment below and let's talk about 2025 glow up. And if you found this video valuable, please make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and make sure to share this video with someone who may find it helpful as well. And now, before I let you go, we have our little tradition over here at the Chic Evolution. I'm gonna blow out the candle and leave you with this message. So my chic babes, until our next encounter, let your uniqueness shine, let your self-love grow, and let your confidence inspire. And I will see you when? I will see you sooner than later. Oh, wait a minute. There you go. It is a wrap, baby. It's a wrap, it's a wrap, it's a wrap.